Yo, what up? It's Roger from the Mask Gorilla Podcast. We did it first. They did it worse. We got a good one right now.
Yeah.
We got WhitecollarWill. It's his first interview. It's also, I guess, the first time I've interviewed like an all-around creative. I've had on Parker from Absent. He might be the only fashion person I've had on.
He's fire.
But mainly artists. But I've been seeing your name for years at this point.
Thank you.
You're a manager, a clothing designer. You've managed or been a part of pretty much every relevant underground rapper of the past like 3 or 4 years. Whenever I think I found something and I go and search on their Instagram, it's like managed by WhitecollarWill. So I'm like, fuck it, dude. We should have an interview.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the name. Where does that come from?
I think I honestly made it when I was like 17. I was just like, I need something that rolls off the tongue, but my name is Will, so I had to I couldn't think of anything that rolled off the tongue.
It was like, so I need a name for Instagram.
Yeah, literally. And I think it was like right when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to college and like where to go. And I was just like, because I went to college for fashion design, I was kind of like, do I want to like go the accounting route like my family, or like do some creative shit? So I did like the white collars, like the accountant side, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but I kind of forget the like origin. Like it's been so long.
Oh, where are you from?
Upstate New York, Albany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, this is also another interesting interview since you haven't done an interview and you're not a rapper, so there's not even like, oh, well, I can just ask them about their first song or whatever. It's like, I pretty much know nothing about you.
Yeah.
So you're from Albany.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
21.
21.
Yeah.
I guess, what was it like growing up in upstate New York?
Dude, it was low-key. It was like, since I've been always into like the clothing, like fashion stuff, and obviously underground music, like I would put fits on and low-key would just get called gay like every day, bro. Like it's really like one of those places, but like my high school was like a mix of like everybody. So like had like a bunch of different like ethnicities and like social groups, and like also where I'm from, like specifically, like I'm from Albany, but I'm really from like Colony, like that's where I went to like high school, Colony.
Okay.
And like Albany and like Schenectady, like Colony's in between both, and like Albany and Schenectady are like there's like trenches, and then Colony's like a little like sweet spot, like suburban area.
It's like, I think people think of I'm from New York, from Long Beach, New York. I say this on every podcast at this point, but that's like so close to the city. It's like a 30-minute train ride. I feel like people think about upstate New York and it's like, oh, it's like farmland stuff. Like, yo, there's sketchy shit up there. It's like, I would be more pressed to be walking around in areas around Albany than like the fucking Bronx, I feel like.
No, literally. Because cops aren't like patrolling Albany.
No, dude,
they're not patrolling Schenectady.
Up there.
It's insane. And like, I don't know. I also have like friends that are producers that are up there. So they'll go to like their like homie artist crib, which is also just always the trap.
Yeah.
And like they were telling me a story. They had like a studio that's right next to where they like the studios is like also where they serve.
Oh my god.
So like my friend will be like producing or tracking something, and there'll just be a junkie just
bang bang bang.
No,
bang,
like hand in, like there's a little opening.
There's a window.
So, so they're like number 7. Yeah, bro, with their like $5. So it's crazy. It's crazy. And then like the op blocks are right next to each other. Like I have like rapper homies from Albany when I was younger that I was friends with that just like died, bro. Like it's crazy. Like there's like 5 that I'm not gonna name drop, but it's like it gets bad up there.
But so you were like a fashion kid from a young age.
Yeah.
You were like, what were some brands you were into when you were younger?
I mean, obviously like early on was like Supreme and like Subi, like the kind of like starter. I feel like that's like starter gear. Kind of started moving into like Vivian. I was like huge on Vivian. Copped like, I don't know, I was just...
Is like the Vivian wave over? I feel like I'm always like at least a year late because I'll see something and then I'll be like, I don't want to spend money on this. And when I finally commit to spending money, I'll be like, oh wait, I don't think anyone's wearing Vivian. Like, is it over, or is it just all in my brain?
I don't even think of like, I honestly don't really think about like trends like that. I kind of just like look at it because like Vivian's such a like legend from the story to like her boyfriend managed the Sex Pistols.
Insane.
And then like that's how she got started designing all of their like outfits for shows and like tours. Crazy. It's like that's how I kind of want to be with Bain too. So like I don't think Vivian will ever go out of style, and no matter what, even if it's like the next like dead Supreme. Like I don't care.
I don't think it's ever going to be that. I
She's
just
too
feel
much
like
of a
there was
legend.
for sure a period where every underground rapper had the
Yeah.
necklace
Yeah.
or had the earrings, and now I don't see it as much. But it's not like it will never reach that sort of mass because it's not expensive, but it's not as cheap as like a $40
Yeah.
t-shirt from Supreme.
Actually, it is pretty. It like depends the pieces.
Is it expensive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're getting like the runway,
Dude, I was in Paris with Cemetery, and I stopped at the Vivian store, like every store, but I pretty much only stopped at the Vivian store, and I got like a purse for my girl. It was like over $1,000.
yeah,
And I got sunglasses that were like $400 or $500.
yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, this is like pretty.
yeah, slight bag, little slight bag.
I'm like, all right, and like, I don't buy designer stuff ever.
Yeah,
And there's like this tax loophole in Paris that I thought I was going to take advantage of, and then I never did it because on the way in the airport you're supposed to like show your thing, and then they like pay you back for the taxes, or I don't fucking know. I did not do it.
tax loophole sounds fire.
There's like no taxes in Paris, but you have to go through an extra step. Like you pay it and then they give it to you back when you leave the country or something.
You just walk out of Paris with like a good check off of like spending a couple bands at stores.
Like there's like a lot of rich people go to Paris to buy designer stuff. Like if you're gonna spend like $100,000 at like the Louis store,
that
then
sounds ridiculous.
yeah, I don't fucking know. But so
at the Louis store,
you're like, I feel like there's like a little baby. Like I went to Paris to get a new, I don't know. But like you're into like the starter brands, if you want to call them that.
yeah.
Were you following like, I'm trying to think of like, what were the brands, like the young brands that were like doing their own thing, and that was like Half Evil around yet? Or
I mean, Half
Absinthe
Evil was like a
around yet,
little bit
probably.
later. I feel like I really got hip to Half Evil like when like early Juice was just rocking it all the time.
Was it like, were you old enough for like Dirtbag and like those brands? Like that was before Half Evil. What was in the middle of that? Was there
V-Lone?
anything? Oh yeah,
Like I guess
fucking
V-Lone. Yeah, it was. I mean, like that's the other thing. Like I was huge on like Ian Connor and like like a bunch of those like fashion like influencers too. Like back in the day, I can scroll up to my phone and I just have like screenshots of like all these different fits from different like Lucas Sabat.
Oh
like,
yeah,
obviously as
right. Yeah, it was like that. Right, I completely
that like
forgot
that
about
old
that whole
like that culture. I
New
miss
York,
that so much.
Yeah. Dude, it was so sick.
Yeah, even from being like I was just in my bedroom, I was just like, dude, I wish I could like put it on like this and be around this, and but I was in upstate New York, 3 hours away.
But I mean, speaking of seeing everyone wearing Vivian, and then I've seen everyone wearing Bain.
Yeah.
So how'd that start?
Honestly, it really just started like because I was just doing like a lot of covers and like merch for Faygo, and I was just like, I just want to start my own thing. Like I had already like dropped like a couple things when I was like much smaller than when I used to do like fan art and stuff. And then I was just like, I need something that's just gonna like stick and be very like brandable. So I just kind of, I think I dropped like my first Bain thing like 2020-ish, late 2020, I think.
Damn.
Like probably right after like After Me, when After Me dropped.
So
by
you
Faygo.
were already working with Faygo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we glossed over that. How'd that happen?
Oh, so basically I was in senior year of high school right before COVID hits. I'm just like, you know, and when you're a senior, you just have hella free time. You're just going around school. I was like, oh, dude, I love like the new underground scene coming up. I was like, how can I get involved? Because I didn't know like there was a manager position or I didn't know that thing. Like like my school doesn't, like a lot of them go and do
like anyone's school.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you grew up in LA
or New York. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know what an entertainment attorney was until I needed one, and I was already running the blog for like 6 years. I was like, oh, you need an attorney to speak to labels.
Existed.
I'm like, what? Yeah, dude, I didn't know shit.
I know, I feel it.
Yeah.
But shit, what were we talking about?
How you started working with Faygo.
Faygo, yeah. So I did senior year of high school, just like on my free time, those free like periods, I would just draw and like post it on Instagram. Like started that like early 2020. And then I did like a fan art of Pasto, Tekka, and Faygo and posted it, and they all reposted it. And then Faygo like DM'd me. Pasto tapped in so late. I was so surprised. But yeah, no, Faygo tapped in. He was like, yo, like I just want you to start like working with me on some shit. He added me like a bunch of group chats. We had like the old like web group chat which Joey was like into.
Wow.
Like a couple prods and other artists in there. It was like that's how it like really started to build. We had like that was like right before, I think it was the drop before, like I think it was Where You At, because I remember like first getting a whip and like playing Faygo, just being a fan.
Yeah.
And then like
Wow.
fast forward, I'm just like listening to the unreleased in the whip, like oh my god, like I can't believe I'm here kind of thing, but I wasn't even anywhere.
But I mean, do you still work with him?
Yeah.
So what's like the scope of work that you've done, and like what would you say your position is?
Right now I'm kind of like obviously step back a little bit because of management stuff, but like he'll still work with them, or like they'll like pull me in on some merch stuff. But I did like a lot of creative for After Me, and then like Pink Hearts I did like a lot of creative for that too. Like it's like it's creative direction, but I don't like to take that title just because it's like I feel like it's like always the artist lead, you know what I mean? Like I don't like to like build something completely without like the artist being like pushing the needle forward a little bit. That's like
what creative direction is. It's like you're helping direct them, and it's like they have their input and stuff, and like or like they have their vision, and then you direct their vision. You direct
exactly.
Their creative vision director. Yeah.
No, literally, or just like help making like the graphics, like bringing it to life in the visual aspect.
Who are people who are in similar positions in other camps? Like there's like a Playboy Cardi. Yeah. Does like he have someone?
Yeah, art dealer. Yeah, that's the other thing. The community is so interesting. Like art dealer does like a lot of Cardi stuff. There's this dude, My Violent Valentine, that does like a lot of Ken stuff. This kid Stomach, who I was like actually just with like last week, does all of Lone stuff. And then like it's all,
it like seems like a small niche because like it's such a unique position.
Yeah, no, it is.
But so like you're in the middle of doing that. Yeah. And you're like, I have proximity to all these artists. Why don't I start a brand? Is that kind of how it happened?
No, I think I wanted to start a brand. Okay. Like that was like the first thing. Like I always loved underground music. I was just like, I wanted to be involved, but I was also like, I love like fashion. So I had like a brand when I was in like my sophomore year of high school, and it was like not it. But I shot like a trailer for it. Like I did the whole rollout thing.
That's sick.
Sold like I only made 4 t-shirts.
What was the name of it?
It was like Jour de Sumer.
Wow, like you went for it.
Yeah,
like,
I did.
Fuck this. I'm gonna convince everyone that this is France, like a fucking Paris.
Forgot what it even stands
house.
For.
Jordan.
I don't even remember. Like Day of something like that. I don't know. I never took French.
Very ambitious. It's not like you were just like
I'll just go for
WhitecollarWill shirts or something. You were like, I'm fucking making a designer brand.
Yeah, I was trying to I was really trying to make something. I would just take like I had a thrift like a 2-minute walk away from my crib. So I would just cop some of that stuff, like screen print it, like just mess with it, dye it, like all types of stuff. Yeah.
But so Bain, where'd that name come from?
It's taken on like a lot of meanings. But like, I guess the first one, I would say like Kurt, like huge like Nirvana fan, just like the Bain on the end of his last name.
Oh, but also, my God, you just blew my mind. Holy shit. I was like, yeah, Kurt, what are you talking about? Like, I was like pretending like I knew what you were talking about.
No, and then it also comes from like a very real place too. And like a kid from the show was actually talking to me about it yesterday. Like Bain, like obviously like the saying, like the bane of my existence. You know what I mean? Like I have like a pretty like rough relationship with my mom. So it all like kind of stems from there. And like even with her like passing in like 2021 and just like stuff like that, the whole like very toxic relationship, it was like I just needed to like kind of an outlet for it, because like especially where I'm from, like there's not like people don't do shit like that. You know what I mean? Like people don't like put their emotions into things. They kind of just like study and
get addicted,
play
to
sports, and like smoke weed and just exactly. Like had a lot of friends just geeking up. But so it comes from like a personal place, and I think like whenever I'll post like that on my story, which is like very rare, like having kids like notice it and like come up to me and like talk to me about it, be like, I've like literally that kid from yesterday who was like, you made me want to make like my brand like more personal to who I am and not just something that's like cool to have. And like that's it huge. Means the world to me, bro. Huge. Like it means the world to me, because that's like what art is. Like, if it doesn't mean anything to you, is it going to mean something to these other people?
Exactly.
Like,
it has to be a feeling.
Exactly. Like
it
V-Loan
needs to be more than a design.
It's a loan. Like, kind of, it comes from a real place.
Yeah. Born alone, die alone.
Yeah.
So I feel like most kids, if they're like the creative director for Faygo,
yeah,
and they're 21, they're thrilled. But then you're like, I'm going to do a fashion brand.
Yeah.
And then you have a very successful brand, and you're doing a lot of cool shit. There's a lot of fucking cool people wearing it. You're doing 101 pieces.
Yeah.
I just saw what you posted. Then it's like, that's like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But then you're like, also, I want to manage artists.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Dude, I was low-key like, because I had like a little, I interned at Alamo for like a little bit when I was at like 2020. I was like low-key just doing research, and I was like, I need to get out of here. Yeah. And then I kind of just like, I just was friends with all these artists coming up, like when Faygo was coming up, like a lot of like his homies were starting to go up too, just like people getting hip to the scene. And I was like a lot of these labels are like, at least the ones going for the smaller artists are just sharks. They're just sharks. So I was just like, I don't want my 16-year-old friend, like, or like, no matter the age, like getting taken advantage of.
It's like essentially why I started.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, I know the other people,
and
we probably know some of the people we're talking about right now in our heads, and we know they're pieces of shit.
Yes.
I'm like, how can I help?
Exactly.
And also, I want to be successful, and I want a house in Malibu, and but it's like,
but
how
it doesn't
can
really
I help
come
in the
from
process?
There.
Yeah. That's very commendable.
Yeah.
What artists have you worked with? Who have you managed?
Yeah.
Because we were on the Zoom one time.
Yeah. No, we were.
Who? With Only Bino.
Yeah. So Only Bino, Chulo. I used to work with like SGP West, Yapo JJ, this kid Jester from Texas. He's 16.
Wow.
Che, and then Wolfface Joey, and then like some prods.
That's a heavy lineup.
Yeah. But like, this is the other thing too, is like, I help like obviously like, they're younger, you know what I mean? And like, some of them aren't like willing to, do certain things. So it's like kind of like building up.
Right. It's not like, for a new artist,
it's not like day to day.
It's not super like intensive, setting up your whole schedule, and we're traveling to this in the city. It's like kind of like, we speak a handful of times a week, and we text throughout the day and
get rollouts ready. Just kind of let them like, because like, that's like, I work with like a lot of young artists, so it's like, I don't want to put too much on them too early, and then like,
absolutely,
there's just pushback. It's like, just let them kind of go with the flow of like how they want to pursue it, and obviously guide them in the right direction.
Right. Exactly. Smart. I think I wanted to do the podcast because obviously what I said in the beginning of like, you're so interesting and I've known your name, but like, also you're just like so nice. Like, I gotta imagine the other creative directors for like Opium are dickheads. I don't know who they are. I have no fucking clue who they are. Like, this is just an assumption.
Yeah.
But you're just such a fucking great guy that
yeah,
artists are lucky that someone like you is out there. You're trying to help them out.
No, I appreciate it. I think I've also had to like kind of open up to it. I think for a while I was very like just antisocial. Like, even when I was growing up, like I would just be in the room playing Black Ops 2 just every day, every night. But like, I think I've just gotten warmed up to like talking and kind of being more outgoing and just like not super egotistical. Kind of just like, even yesterday, like you didn't come to the show, but
well, I also had the show.
Oh yeah, you had the Kadee one, and then I had artists performing there too. Yeah, it was a crazy night. That show looked crazy, by the way.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah. But no, I was saying like, there was this kid in the crowd after the show. He ate like one of the hot chip.
Oh my god.
The one, and he
in
just,
the pit.
Yeah, he was just dying. And I was like, okay, he's not feeling good. So I just like walked him out, got him water, napkins, and like got him an Uber home. I was like, dude,
wow.
if like, I know like a lot of other people that like would be like, that would be in my position wouldn't have done that.
Like,
you know what I mean?
gotta go to the green room. I got shit to do.
Yeah,
like,
or like, I gotta get this artist like to the like, but no, like this kid is dying. I need to get him like to feel good, like feel okay.
That's an insane move to eat one of those out of the show. Where it's probably a steam room in there.
He just rubbed his eyes by accident.
Yeah,
just like,
fuck, I'm blind. No. speaking of you being a manager,
Yeah.
This interview is going to be shorter than normal because you literally have to go work your job as a manager and leave. But I think people watching this podcast, they're like, oh, he's like the creative director. He's a fashion guy. He's wearing a white T-shirt. Where's the drip? You said you have an interesting story.
Yeah. So basically, right, so I had a layover because I booked my flight late. So there's no nonstops.
Brutal.
And I only fly out of LaGuardia. LaGuardia is like my airport. You know what I mean?
I've never heard that before. People like JFK more than
I know. JFK is too far. The line's too long for me. I'm not going to Jersey.
Where are you living now?
East Village.
Oh, okay.
New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So like I had the layover to Chicago. So basically like I get on the, I do the 2 carry-on thing. I don't check any bags. I'm very simple.
Bags,
I'm not trying to get my shit lost. So I bring my duffel bag, backpack, put the backpack under the seat, duffel bag up top. They told me to put like my overhead baggage in like one of the like earlier rows because like everything was full in the back and my seat was
not being next
close to
it.
it. Yeah. So basically like I was just kind of near the back of the plane, and so we take off, we land. I'm like, letting everyone get off. I'm not like, this is the other thing. I'm not eager to get off the plane.
Yeah.
Like I just let everybody do their thing. I'll just sit here on my phone and like go
I'm not
through
gonna
text
stand
messages.
up the second it lands just to stand up.
Yeah, literally. We're trying to fight to get to like the next flight. But so like I let everyone kind of go do their thing. I walk down and I'm like, where's my bag? Like, where's my overhead bag? I walk back and forth. I'm like, then I asked the flight attendant. She's like, oh yeah, we took like a bag off, like took it out of, because I already put it overhead.
They like took it off to check it.
Yeah.
Without asking you?
Yeah. So, and like the other thing, they were like, we announced it. We walked like up and down. I was like, dude, it was in the front. Like,
and
what I'm saying?
I probably have my fucking headphones on.
Exactly.
And also, every flight I've been on this summer for me personally has been miserable, by the way. Like everything's been delayed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going
on.
Stuck
in Miami.
Dude,
like,
it's fucking...
It's been insane.
I've had such bad flights. So... Your bag is lost.
It's in New York.
It's
in New York. I had to go to Target and cop like the most basic, like
that's
literally spent $200 just on like 5 days worth of like regular outfits.
You still, it's like a stylish look. I think that's what separates people like me who are like, I'm gonna wear the new fucking Supreme Stussy shirt or whatever, and the fitted hat from Hat Club versus someone who actually can put together a fit, because you still look like it's a vibe.
It's pajama pants. I wore them to the show.
Dude, so good. So good.
Just meeting with people in pajama pants. It's like,
you're like, thank you, sir, for paying my artist to perform. I just rolled out of bed.
No, literally. But yeah,
well,
that was a mess.
You got to run, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's probably so much we didn't touch on.
I know. There actually is like quite a bit. There's a lot of interesting stories.
We're going to do a part 2.
Yeah, I'm super down.
The next time you're here, part 2, tune in. But before we go, advice for any young graphic designers, clothing brand owners, people want to be managers. What would you say to them?
I guess it depends which one. I would say for like graphic designers, you literally like, this is what I had to do. Just lock in every day. Whenever you have free time, you got to be making art or have to be like DMing or like making fan art. Like that's literally like, it's actually crazy. The trajectory that I've had from just doing fan art to going to management.
Fan art makes a lot of sense as like a hack.
Yeah,
because it's the easiest way to get the artist's attention, because sending messages probably won't work, but they're going to look at some sick thing that someone made.
Exactly, for free.
Yeah.
Too. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing the graphic design thing, lock in. Management, I would like, got to be just outgoing and nice. You can't be like, even if you're like repping the hottest artists, like, you know what I mean? Like, or if they're on the come up, like,
if they're not going to be hot forever.
Exactly.
This is a long game.
Everyone gets hot, everyone gets cold.
You're going to be in the industry for hopefully 25 years. Relationships are all that matter.
Exactly.
Don't be a dickhead, because you're gonna need that person.
Exactly. And you don't know when.
Yeah.
Could be a year from now. It could be 3 years from now. You don't know where they're gonna go.
They could be your boss one day.
Exactly.
It's like, dude.
Or they could be like a crazy producer all of a sudden. Like, you never know. People are just open books.
So practice, make fan art, and be a good person are the 3 tips to success.
Honestly, I think that's like
from WhitecollarWill.
I think that's a good top 3. I think that covers a lot of bases.
I wish we had more time. I think it was a pretty good podcast for the amount of time we had. We're going to do a part 2.
No,
thank you so much for hanging out and coming on the podcast. No,
of course. Thank you for having me, and obviously for like having us too. Like, will they know that Che and Joey are in the other room?
Another reason why it's so short, because this is the 3rd podcast I filmed in the past 3 hours, and they have other obligations to do. They can't just hang out at my office all day, unfortunately. But we did
Office is beautiful.
And we'll face Joey, so that's why I don't know when they're coming out and what order. But
yeah,
thank you, bro.
No, bro, thank you. I really appreciate it. First interview.
Part 1.